Hello, my name is Dr. Steele, and welcome to Steele Mathematics, where lessons in Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, and Calculus are taught. And today, we are going to talk about volume. Now, what exactly is volume? Well, before we get into that, I want to talk about the figures that we are finding the volume of. And the first figure I'm going to talk about is the prism. Now, what exactly is a prism? A prism is a three-dimensional figure that has parallel congruent faces. And those congruent faces are called bases. The other faces are called lateral faces. Now, prisms are named after their bases. The first one is the rectangular prism, because the bases are shaped like rectangle. And what is so special about a rectangular prism is that the front and the back can be bases, the top and the bottom can be bases, the sides can be bases. They're all shaped like rectangles. The second prism is called the triangular prism, because as you can see, the bases are shaped like triangles. The third prism is the the hexagonal prism, because the bases are shaped like hexagons. Finally, you have a circular prism, because the bases are shaped like circles. Now, the circular prism has a special name, and that is the cylinder. And I'm going to write this down, cylinder. The distance between the bases is called the height. Now, usually when you think of height, you think of how tall something is. In other words, from bottom to top. But officially, the height is the distance between the two bases. It's not always bottom to top all the time. And in these examples that you see here, well, that's the case of the cylinder. It is from bottom to top. But for the rest of them, it is from front to back. Okay? But the only thing that matters is the distance between the two bases. Next, the volume is the amount of space inside a 3D figure. Now, how you find that volume depends on what the figure is. So suppose that V is the volume, B is the area of the base, and H is the height of the prism. Then the volume of that prism is the area of the base times the height of the prism. Now, how you find the area of the base depends on what the base is shaped like. But you'll see what I'm talking about when I show you the examples. So next, you have the pyramid, which has only one base instead of two. And just like the prism, pyramids are named for their bases. So like the first one is a square pyramid because the base is shaped like a square. Next, you have the triangular prism, or should I say the triangular pyramid, because the shape of the base is a triangle. Next, we have a hexagonal pyramid because the base is shaped like a hexagon. Finally, you have a circular pyramid because the base is shaped like a circle. And just like the cylinder, a circular pyramid has a special name, and that would be a cone. So now suppose V is the volume, B is the area of the base, and H is the height of the pyramid. Then the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So the difference between the volume of a prism and the volume of the pyramid is that the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 of that formula. Now the last three-dimensional figure we're going to look at is the sphere, which is where a baseball, a soccer ball, or a basketball is shaped like. The Earth is also shaped like a sphere. And the only thing that determines the size of a sphere, or should I say the size of a sphere, is the radius. Therefore, the volume of a sphere is 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. So here's some examples. Let's say you are to find the volume. Pi is 3.14, and you're going to round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. Well, to find the volume of a prism, a pyramid, or a sphere, you have to first recognize what shape it is. So like for number one, well, if you look at the front and the back, this is actually a square pyramid. Or should I say a square prism, excuse me. So since this is a prism, you would use this formula. The base is shaped like a square, therefore you would use length times width, which is 5 times 5, which is 25. And the height of the prism would be 21. Therefore, this is 25 times 21. And 25 times 21 is 525 cubic inches. Now, when you're dealing with volume, the unit is cubed. So this is why it is 525 cubic inches. So number two, we have a cylinder. Therefore, you would use the formula volume equals the area of the base times the height. Now the base is shaped like a circle. So therefore you would use the circle area formula, which is pi times r squared. This is 314 times 8 squared. And that will give you 200.96. And the height of the cylinder is 6. Therefore, the volume is 200 0.96 times 6. And that will give you 1,205.76 cubic feet. All right, next we have a sphere. So we use the formula volume equals 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. So therefore this is 4/3 times 3.14 times 13 cubed. And we're going to do this in our calculator. And you will get 9,198. Let me erase this. 98.11 cubic centimeters. Again, always cube your unit. Finally, we have a pyramid. So this is the formula we use for the volume. All right, so the base is shaped like a square. So we use length times width, which is 10 times 10, which is 100. And the height of the pyramid is 12. So therefore, this is 1/3 times 100 times 12. We're doing it in our calculator. And you will get 400 cubic inches. So as you can see, when you find the volume of a 3D figure, you must first recognize the figure so that you can determine which volume formula to use. Then, once you determine your volume formula, if it's a prism or a pyramid, you determine the shape of the base so that you determine which area formula to use. And once you do that, you can calculate. I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day.